There's no time for us. There's no place for us.
The ghost of Freddie Mercury may have just danced across the BGT 2025 stage, and audiences around the world are asking the same question. Did we just witness the birth of a modern legend or a glitter-drenched illusion? In what's being hailed as one of the most unforgettable grand final performances in recent memory, Mickey Callisto stunned both judges and viewers with a thunderous rendition of Queen, "Don't Stop Me Now." The performance wasn't just big, it was cosmic. Dressed in a skin-tight glitter suit with neon beams shooting across the arena, Mickey transformed the BGT stage into a psychedelic space opera. And it wasn't just the visuals that left people speechless. His voice, commanding, flamboyant, slightly theatrical, had shades of Mercury's unmistakable flair. For a moment, time seemed to rewind as Mickey howled into the mic like he was channeling the late rock god himself. As the final note echoed, the crowd erupted before the music had even faded. Amanda Holden was visibly emotional. Bruno clapped like a man possessed. Twitter exploded. The buzz was instant. Mickey Callisto is Freddie reborn. But behind the glitter, there's a deeper question brewing. Was this lightning in a bottle or a carefully constructed tribute designed to bait nostalgia? Because if Mickey Callisto just pulled off the greatest Queen cover in reality TV history, then Britain's Got Talent may have found not just a winner, but a cultural reset. But Mickey's road to the BGT Grand Final wasn't paved with roses and high notes. In fact, his very first audition was met with confusion, laughter, and plenty of eye rolls. Stepping onto the stage with a pastel jumpsuit, slick neon hair, and a synth-pop backing track that sounded like an 80s fever dream, Mickey was instantly dubbed the season's quirky wildcard. Simon raised an eyebrow. Bruno danced awkwardly. Alessia looked unsure, yet something about him lingered. His original song, a nostalgic bop called Out of This World, didn't showcase powerhouse vocals, but it oozed charisma. Still, Mickey wasn't taken seriously, not by the judges nor by a large chunk of the audience. Memes exploded online. Twitter called him the synth wizard from space, and TikTok users stitched his performance with captions like, "What did I just watch?" But slowly something changed. Week after week, Mickey returned with tighter vocals, stronger performances, and growing confidence. By the semifinals, what began as a novelty act had evolved into a fan-driven phenomenon. Viewers weren't just watching, they were rooting for him. His transformation from eccentric sideshow to genuine contender was one of the most surprising arcs of the season. And that's where the comparisons to Mercury began. Because like the late Queen frontman, Mickey wasn't just performing songs. He was commanding attention, dividing opinion, and rewriting the rules of what it means to be a star in the BGT. While Mickey's stardust stagecraft dazzled the audience, a very different story was reportedly playing out behind the curtains. According to multiple insider leaks and anonymous crew whispers, there were serious doubts about Mickey's place in the competition from the get-go, and some of the loudest skepticism allegedly came from Simon Cowell himself. One viral tweet claimed Simon lobbied to remove Mickey before the semifinals, calling his act too niche and not commercially viable. Another source hinted that certain producers were locked in a heated debate over whether Mickey's synth-heavy style could connect with a mainstream audience. At one point, there were even rumors that Mickey's stage time was going to be cut mid-season in favor of more serious vocalists. The tension reportedly reached its peak after his theatrical quarterfinal performance, where Mickey flew in on a glittered hoverboard. While fans went wild online, producers were said to be internally freaking out over how to market his image. It wasn't until his semifinal performance drew millions of views in just 24 hours that attitudes shifted. Suddenly, Simon was praising his unique brand of stardom, and the BGT PR machine kicked into high gear. But the damage was done. Fans started speculating. Was Mickey fighting for his spot every week behind closed doors? If true, his journey wasn't just about rising to the occasion. It was about surviving an uphill battle against the very system that almost boxed him out. Then came the Queen gamble, the moment that would either immortalize Mickey or implode his entire arc. In the days leading up to the BGT Grand Final, whispers began circulating that Mickey was preparing something huge. At first, insiders believed he would debut another original synth anthem, but everything changed when a leaked rehearsal clip showed Mickey belting out "Don't Stop Me Now." The fandom lost it. The move was bold, maybe even reckless. Covering Queen's iconic hit, especially in a live televised final, is a high-stakes choice for any singer, let alone one who had built his image on quirky original tracks. But according to backstage sources, Mickey nearly backed out. One report suggested he struggled to adapt his falsetto, heavy voice to Freddie's powerful range. Another claimed he cried after an early run-through, doubting whether he could carry the emotional weight of such a legendary song. Yet something inside him shifted. Maybe it was defiance, maybe it was destiny. He stuck with the Queen cover, reworked the arrangement with a synth-pop twist, and doubled down on the theatrical staging. It was a calculated risk, and on the night of the Grand Final, when Mickey stepped out in a rhinestone catsuit under pulsing strobe lights, it followed next was nothing short of viral alchemy. The moment Mickey launched into the opening lines of Don't Stop Me Now, something electric happened. His voice, more grounded than usual, yet still laced with that quirky edge, hit the arena like a lightning bolt. The stage exploded with retro laser effects, glitter cannons, and a rotating disco sun suspended from the ceiling. It was a visual overload that somehow didn't overshadow the vocals. Instead, it amplified them. He wasn't just singing. He was unleashing a performance that felt like a concert, a Broadway show, and a time warp all in one. Midway through, the camera panned to Amanda Holden, eyes glistening, hand over heart. Bruno was already on his feet spinning, and Simon, even he cracked a grin. As the final chorus echoed, the entire crowd stood, clapping in sync like it was Wembley Stadium in 1985. The second the lights dimmed, the internet lit up. Clips of the performance hit TikTok within minutes. #Mickey Mercury began trending. YouTubers dropped reaction videos overnight. One headline read, "BGT finalist brings Freddie back from the dead." And just like that, Mickey wasn't just a finalist anymore. He was a phenomenon. As the glitter settled, and the lights faded from Mickey Callisto's explosive grand final performance, a tidal wave of internet reactions surged across every major social platform, and nearly all of them echoed the same jaw-dropping sentiment. That wasn't just a performance, that was Freddie Mercury reincarnated. TikTok compilations with side-by-side comparisons of Mickey and Freddie flooded the app within hours. On X, formerly Twitter, fans debated whether Mickey's vocals were a loving homage or an audacious impersonation. Reddit threads blew up with think pieces dissecting his body language, fashion choices, and vocal inflections. Even YouTube's reaction community went wild, with channels posting breakdowns titled, "Is Mickey Callisto the 21st Century Freddie?" complete with dramatic thumbnails showing Mickey in freeze frame next to Mercury. The similarities were uncanny. The arched eyebrows, the theatrical mic stand twirls, the way he commanded the stage like it belonged to him. But as quickly as the praise rose, so did the backlash. Some Queen purists called the performance too Vegas, accusing Mickey of turning a rock classic into a glam-pop spectacle. Others argued that while his flair was impressive, his vocal depth didn't match Freddie's raw power. Still, many came to Mickey's defense, pointing out that no one could truly replicate Freddie, and that Callisto never claimed to. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. "He's not replacing Freddie, he's reminding us what bold artistry looks like." And perhaps that's the real reason this performance hit so hard. In an era of filtered talent and algorithm-driven stars, Mickey dared to bring chaos, color, and controversy, just like Freddie once did. But as Mickey Callisto's name began trending worldwide, another narrative crept into the spotlight, one that suggested his Freddie Mercury transformation wasn't an organic evolution, but rather a planned media strategy. Conspiracy theories ignited, accusing Britain's Got Talent producers of crafting a Freddie storyline behind the scenes to stir up nostalgia and drive virality. Some eagle-eyed viewers pointed out that Mickey's outfits throughout the season subtly morphed from futuristic pop star to vintage glam rocker, suggesting a carefully charted path. Others highlighted that his stage lighting and camera angles during the Queen performance eerily mirrored old Queen concerts, hinting that this was no accident. A TikTok sleuth even claimed to have found a leaked pitch deck allegedly sent to media outlets before the final, framing Mickey as the Mercury of Gen Z. Of course, no such document was ever verified, but the rumor stuck. Then came the bombshell. A former BGT crew member anonymously stated on a fan podcast that producers were pushing a Mercury moment for Mickey weeks before the finale. While ITV denied the claims, calling them categorically false, the internet wasn't so easily convinced. For many fans, the question shifted from "Is Mickey the next Freddie?" to "Was he meant to be the next Freddie from the start?" Whether truth or myth, the controversy only added fuel to Mickey's already blazing momentum. Because in the world of reality TV, even suspicion can be a powerful form of storytelling, and in Mickey's case, the audience couldn't look away. As the dust began to settle after Mickey's viral BGT finale, a new debate took shape. Was Mickey Callisto simply a talented tribute act, or is he poised to become the unlikely leader of a full-blown glam rock revival? Industry insiders have begun weighing in, and the opinions are split down the middle. Some believe Mickey is riding a moment that will quickly fade, an eccentric novelty whose aesthetic-heavy act won't translate into long-term music sales. Others, however, argue that Mickey has tapped into a cultural gap no one saw coming. Gen Z's hunger for authenticity wrapped in theatrical rebellion. Streaming numbers for his original songs skyrocketed in the days following the finale, with fans flooding his comment sections begging for a tour. Major UK festivals reportedly reached out within 48 hours, with one source close to Glastonbury saying, "There's serious talk about giving him a headline slot at one of the smaller stages." Meanwhile, two major record labels, rumored to be Sony and Universal, are said to be negotiating deals, each aiming to package Mickey's eccentricity into something marketable. Critics are watching closely. Will Mickey lean fully into the Queen comparisons and risk becoming a tribute caricature, or will he carve out a lane so strange and original that no one else can follow? What's clear is this: Mickey Callisto has triggered something far bigger than a talent show finale. He's reopened a long-dormant door in pop culture, one where glitter, drama, and larger-than-life performances are not just welcomed, but demanded. In the immediate aftermath of the finale, while the audience was still catching its breath and judges were offering mixed but largely stunned reactions, Mickey Callisto disappeared into the backstage corridors of the BGT studio with a look that was equal parts disbelief and serenity. Cameras didn't catch much, but one offhand quote from Mickey, caught by a nearby reporter, sparked fresh intrigue. "I sang for the stars tonight, and maybe one of them listened." Since then, the show's producers have remained unusually quiet, refusing to confirm whether Mickey will be invited to perform again or if he's won any follow-up deals. Amanda Holden called the performance otherworldly, while Simon, in a rare moment of restraint, merely said Mickey was one of the most original acts we've ever had. Social media, meanwhile, is begging for clarity. Fans are already launching petitions for Mickey to headline Pride events, Eurovision, and even Las Vegas. But the star himself has remained coy. In a cryptic Instagram story posted hours after the final, Mickey wrote, "The cosmos has spoken, now I rest." Whether this is theatrical posturing or the sign of a deeper personal reflection, no one knows. What's certain is that Mickey Callisto, for better or worse, has entered the pop culture bloodstream. And like all great artists who walk the line between genius and madness, his next move may determine whether he ascends into true stardom or vanishes into the ether like a comet burned too bright, too fast. So where does that leave us? Is Mickey Callisto truly the second coming of Freddie Mercury, a fearless showman who blends voice, vision, and vintage glam into something transcendent? Or is he a brilliant illusion, constructed by TV producers to capitalize on a generation's craving for spectacle? The truth may be somewhere in between. What we do know is that Mickey's journey from a glitter-clad oddball to a headline-stealing enigma was one of the most gripping arcs in BGT history. He wasn't the best technical singer, he didn't belt like a Broadway lead or riff like a gospel powerhouse, but what he did do was command attention. He brought back the feeling of live performance, the unpredictability, the risk, the magic. And in an age where many talent shows feel sanitized and algorithm-approved, Mickey felt like chaos incarnate. Whether he becomes the voice of a new glam-pop revolution or fades into the realm of one-season wonders, he's already done something unforgettable. He made us feel something. Or confusion, joy, nostalgia, whatever your emotion was, Mickey sparked it. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of artistry Freddie Mercury himself would have applauded. Because if there's one thing Freddie taught us, it's that greatness doesn't come from imitation, it comes from impact. And Mickey Callisto, he definitely made an impact.